Hey guys, welcome to Manosphere Nation. I'm your host, James, and in this video we're going to talk a little bit about getting started in combat sports and MMA, and going to have a few tips to help you get there. And we're going to do all of that right after the intro. Guys, in most of my videos, I have stressed the importance of getting into combat sports and getting into mixed martial arts. Guys, I cannot emphasize enough just how crucial this can be to your development of becoming a better man. Like I said, one of my biggest regrets in life is that I waited so late to start. I wish I had started this years ago. The positive impact that this can have on your life cannot be overstated. It is that important to me, and I really do think it will be that important to you. So if you're sitting there and thinking, all right, you know what, I'm going to get into it. I'm gonna start taking some mixed martial art classes. I don't know anything about it. I don't know where to begin. I don't know what to do. Guys, I'm going to give you just a very brief synopsis, a very brief overview of the types of combat or the types of fighting in mixed martial arts. And then I'm going to give you just some tips and pointers to help get you started. Guys, I am by no means an expert MMA fighter. Like I said, I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've been doing Muay Thai for about 6 or 7 months. So, you know, the tips and what I tell you will be applicable to any discipline, any different type of mixed martial art. And while I can't tell you how to become a black belt, you know, in whichever discipline you choose, I can tell you, hey, here are the things that I've learned as a brand new beginner. Here are the tips and the things that I'm passing on to you to help make your entry, your beginning stages in mixed martial arts, to help make them more successful. When it comes to fighting, you can essentially break down fighting into three different categories. The first one is going to be stand-up. That's essentially where you and your opponent or partner, whoever, you're standing up, you're trading blows. Boxing, kickboxing, karate. These are some examples of stand-up. Whether you're kicking, whether you're punching, whether you're using elbows, you're standing up, and that's what, as the name implies, that's what it is. All right, the second one is called clinch, or when you're in the clinch. This is essentially both fighters, are standing up, but they've usually got a hold of each other. They're fighting for position. A great example of this would be Muay Thai. Muay Thai uses a lot of strikes and a lot of stuff from the clinch. The third area would be ground combat, which, as the name implies, you're laying on the ground. This is a lot of your grappling. Wrestling is obviously one that comes on the ground. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that's another one that uses techniques on the ground. Okay guys, I want to give you 4 tips to help you be better prepared for when you start your combat sport or your MMA. Tip number 1. This is going to be physically and mentally challenging, so be prepared for it. Start getting yourself into shape. Like I said, you're going to push yourself physically. I work out, I do cardio, and yet I'm in better shape now because I've been taking it, because it's pushing me harder and faster. I feel like I'm in some of the best shape of my life. But I continue to exercise outside of it. Even though mixed martial arts is great physical exercise, you need to continue to do that outside of your class. You need to continue to exercise separately, as well as take whichever combat sport you want to. As I mentioned, it's going to be mentally demanding. You're going to have to make decisions on the fly. You're going to have to think about stuff or react to stuff under duress. My cognitive abilities have done nothing but gone up over the last several months that I've been taking it. And again, I cannot stress just how important this has become for me. Tip number 2. Okay, guys, pick a discipline that you think is going to play up to your strengths. Obviously, I work out. I'm a big guy. I'm a stronger guy. I felt like I would probably have an advantage over people when it comes to grappling, when it comes to ground and pound. That's why I went with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm also a little bit older, and while having strength and having muscles has its advantages, there's also some disadvantages. Over the years I've lost a little bit of dexterity. I've lost a little bit of flexibility, and so I knew going into MMA, I doubted seriously I was going to be able to pull off those flying roundhouse kicks that you see in like kickboxing and karate. So that definitely influenced me to the direction I took for MMA. That definitely influenced me to go the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu route. I was also fortunate enough that the same class that teaches Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu also has a Muay Thai instructor. And so I'm able to take 2 different disciplines, both of which I can use effectively together. So again, if you can get more than one discipline, I highly encourage it. So if you're unsure, get on YouTube. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of videos on the different types of MMA. Watch some of the beginner stuff. Watch what they do. Think to yourself, hey, am I capable? Is that something I can work towards and become proficient at? And if so, that's probably the area you want to go. You may be a lot more limber than I am, in which case maybe karate is the way you want to go. Man, absolutely. But pick 1 or 2 that are going to play to your strengths, and those are the ones that you want to pursue. Once you figure out which discipline or disciplines you want to pursue, look for schools in your area that teach those. And then what I did, I found 2 different, in my area, I found 2 different Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu schools. I went and sat in on both. And almost all of them will let a prospective student come in, watch a little bit, get a feel for it. I wound up going with the one that I got a better vibe with. I got a better vibe with the instructors. I watched the students. Man, they were having fun. They enjoyed it. Man, they were fist bump. I mean, they really got into it, and they were having a great time. That's the one I went with. Man, to me, it's made all the difference. I'm so glad I did. All right, guys, tip number 3. Check your ego at the door. You're going to be humbled. All right, you're going to get submitted. You're going to get thumped. You're going to get tagged. But you know what? That's part of the learning process. The first week that I went in, I've been in law enforcement for 20-something years. I've got some self-defense training. I'm not at the level of these guys. The first week, I rolled with a woman half my size. She's a purple belt, half my size. And within about 4 or 5 minutes, she got me to tap. She submitted me. She had expertise that I didn't. Was that humbling? Yeah. But I was excited because I knew I was learning stuff. You're not, and the thing is, you're going to be dominated for weeks, if not months. But you know what? Just accept it. I remember I think I'd been there for about 2 months. And a brand new student started. He was younger than me, but I was still bigger and stronger. This was his first time. And I was the first person that he rolled with. In jiu-jitsu, when you spar, when you grapple and you train, we call it rolling. And I was the very first guy he ever rolled with. And I dominated him. I think in 5 minutes I got him to tap. I submitted him 2 or 3 times. And I'm not saying that to brag, because there's nothing to brag about it. But I remember afterwards he looked kind of dejected, and I said, hey man, let me let you in a little secret. you're the first person I've ever submitted. I said, I've only been here for 2 months. I promise you, keep coming, keep at it, and you're only going to get better. It was like the light bulb for me went off, and I realized, man, what I was learning worked. And dude, he still comes, man. He's there more often than I am. I get there about 3 times a week. He's there 4 and sometimes 5 times a week. And I want to say it was last week he and I, rolled, and because of my size, because of my strength, I was able to maintain a more dominant position on him, but I could never get him to tap. And it was over, we fist bumped, we talked, and I was like, dude, you've improved so much. You are so much better than you were 3-4 months ago. And he said, man, he goes, I really appreciate it. I feel like I'm learning. So, guys, it's not going to happen overnight. This is a long process, but I promise you, you will get better. Just keep in mind, when it comes to this, it's not about winning, it's about learning. I'm going to say that again because it's so important. This is not about winning, this is about learning. Tip number 4, personal hygiene is paramount in this. You are going to be up close and personal with your other classmates, with your teammates. And body odor, dragon breath, man, that can make their experience with you very unpleasant. I've made peace with the fact that when I'm rolling with people, we're going to sweat, and by the time we're done, we're dripping sweat. And they may be dripping sweat on me, or I'm dripping sweat on them. I've made peace with that. But you don't want to roll with somebody who stinks. You don't want to practice with somebody who's got bad breath when they're all up close to you. So before you go into the gym, before you go to the class, man, make sure you brush your teeth, or you've got some out, and make sure that you smell decent. That I can't stress how important that is. The other thing, make sure that your fingernails and your toenails are trimmed. You're going to be rolling and grappling, and the last thing you would do is accidentally poke somebody in the eye or accidentally scratch somebody because your nails are long. I check my nails every week before I go to class. I clip, 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 clip. That way I'm not accidentally poking somebody or scratching them. All right, guys, these have been a brief overview, and these have been some tips to help you get started with combat sports and MMA. If you're in MMA, if you're in combat sports, and you've got some other tips for beginners, please leave them in the comment section down below. As always, if you found this video informative, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe. If you know somebody that's interested in beginning MMA and combat sports, please share this video with them. Help this channel grow, and together, all of us can become better men.